Welcome to Chew the Chat Podcast.
Hey, how we doing? This episode is number 32, and this is with my second son, Jesi. During this lockdown, we've been going camping, wild camping, a lot as a family. My wife and I on dates, me on my own, me with friends, and we found it to be crucial to coping, really. Magical as a family, but crucial to coping in the current climate. And back in, I think, it might have been June or July, I did a little trip individually with the kids, and one-on-one time I took Jesi first. We did an overnight camp in some woods locally, and it was beautiful. That one-on-one time in a natural environment, really, really connected. Everything stopped, phones stopped, TV stopped, chaos of brothers and sisters and mum and dad, and just non-stop stop, just... yeah, exploring in the forest and making a camp and toasting marshmallows and all that stuff. So we've got just a little short episode. We did an episode with his brother Sonny, the older boy, way back when, episode, I want to say 12 or something, but somewhere back there, which was animated. Aidan did a little anime of it, and it was us in the studio doing a little podcast and listening to music. This one's a bit different. I took some photos and videos of Jesi and myself on the night, and I've just clipped them together. It's nothing in the way of production, just everything clipped together in order of as it happened, really. But the audio that you'll hear is Jesi and I just chatting in the tent and chatting, sat against the tree, and me kind of just getting to know him and him getting to know me outside of the mayhem. So I'm going to watch this with you. So I hope you enjoy it. This is little Jesi Souls, wild camping with his dad during the pandemic. Let's have a look. You ready, Jess? Going on an adventure? Got your seatbelt on? Seatbelt, big boy? Away we go. What do you love about camping?
Having marshmallows near the fire.
What else?
What if your marshmallows get really yellow, and if they turn golden, they're all very, very...
Does that mean they're done?
Yeah, if they're golden, they'll taste better. They'll taste the goodest ones.
Let me help you with that, darling. Don't spill that, because that's what we've got. That's the difference between life and death, that is. Good boy. Lots of water keeps you strong, and it keeps your brain in tune.
And...
well done.
is that a spider?
Do you want crispy? Is it spider?
Do you want to turn into Spider-Man? Then get bitten by it. Do you want it? There it is. I'm not sure if it is a spider.
Maybe. See if you can catch him. But be gentle.
No, I can't get him. He's got wings, so he'll fly away. Daddy, can you come and pick me up on this?
On what?
Come on. I'm going to be Spider-Man. Come on.
Do you like this little cosy tent?
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool, isn't it? Hey? You look so cosy.
Sure.
And so, how excited are you to be camping out in the woods when your brother and sister are at home in their house? Are you missing Sonny and Indigo?
Yeah, well, it's nice to be away from them.
Is it nice? Nice to have a break and have Daddy to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And not have all the chaos. It's crazy, isn't it, when we're all together? Yeah. It's lovely to have you, Jesi. And you What
if you say...
You beat me at the throwing game tonight about 6 or 7 times.
I bet you...
You beat me more than I beat you, and how...
I bet I beaten you 7 times.
At least, yeah. And then you got away from me on the... What was your game called, where we had to do the running game and had to run away and press the button?
That was called...
Was that the Tyrannosaurus game?
The Walrus game.
The Walrus game, that's correct. The Walrus game.
Walrus
You
tag,
got me
it
on
was
that
called.
one, didn't you?
It was called Walrus tag.
I love it.
And if I can't wake you up, I just put the flashlight in your eyes and then you wake up.
And I can make sure you're like a bug in a rug. Do you want me to tell you a story?
Yeah? Story
Okay,
about
so
the goblins.
You get relaxed then, so get in your comfy position.
Just 2 goblins, because we're just 2.
Get in your lovely comfy position. And do you need another wee?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Do you think so?
Yeah, I should try.
Okay.
It's very important to try.
Clever boy. Get cosy, and I'm going to tell you your story. Okay? So, once upon a time, there was 3 little ogre children.
I know. What if they were 3? What if they were? What is he called again? 3 dobbies.
Dobbies, yeah? Lay down, darling.
3 dobbies. Indy was a dobby. I was a dobby. Sonny was a dobby.
There was 3 little goblin children. One of them was called Reginald. And one of them was called Anthony. And the other one was called Rita. Now, Rita used to say,
Right, boys, I want to have an adventure. Let's go and have an adventure.
and Reginald would say, I'm not so sure. I don't like the sound of it. It makes me nervous. And then Anthony says,
But it actually doesn't
Get
make
a grip, man, for God's sake. We've got to live a little, man. Come on, let's see what she wants to do. Come on, Rita, where are we going?
and then Rita says,
We're going this way, follow me.
and Reginald begrudgingly tags along at the end. And then Anthony says, all of a sudden,
It's a good job I brought me tent, isn't it? We can pitch me tent up and we can camp out.
and Reginald said,
Sounds lovely, because I didn't like this before, just thinking we were walking through the fields for no reason. But now we're camping out, that makes me happy.
What if they just camped out in the garden? They'll just be able to go inside when they want.
I think they're just walking through the fields and they're going to camp out, but we're going to find out in a minute.
What if
'cause
they
Rita's gonna
just
tell us.
walked through the fields and they just walked through the fields for no reason and nothing? They just went to sit in the field and go to
Well, maybe that's what they are doing. Maybe sometimes that's the nice thing. Maybe just going and sitting in the field with your friends or your brother and sister and picking flowers and just laying down in the sun and talking.
And
Maybe that is the best bit.
I've got a joke.
Okay, let's abandon that story. What is your joke?
Okay, my joke was... what was it again? I know what it is. And when you go to the field with your friends or sisters, you always must stay abandoned, and you always stay, and you always pick your nose when you go to the field with your friends.
I do.
No, someone random.
Oh, someone random. I'll check you out with someone random.
You
Where
all
have you learned that concept of someone random?
random means they're someone you want to be their friend, but they're just random because you
You don't know
them.
them. Yeah. You're super clever, Jess. Is that comfortable on there?
Grant is
writhing
like
about,
random. Grant is like random because he random Grant.
Random Grant? Where have you got that from?
Random.
Why is Grant random?
Because what was it again? Grant, random,
I mean, it's a good name. It's like a wrestling name.
random,
Grant Random.
Random.
I don't know how you get into that, but I'm with you. I like where you're going.
Oh, it looks like everything. Nice there. Like,
You want to say good night?
good night.
And get cosy, have sleepies, darling. I love you. I love you, boy. I'm very proud of you today. You've been super strong.
The deers.
I think you're going to hear the deers, tonight. So keep your eyes peeled, your ears peeled. And remember, if you need a wee-wee, just go, Daddy, Daddy, I need a wee-wee, and tell me, okay? I love you. Good night, boy. Because you had a wee before bed, didn't you? And then you went for another one, didn't you? So how did you feel from your sleepy? Was it so cosy?
Yeah.
Was that the cosiest sleep you've ever had? This tent is so warm, isn't it? And we were right next to each other. And I was so cosy next to you.
But
I didn't hear any of the deers, did you?
I did.
Did you?
Daddy, did you go inside your tent?
Yeah, I slept with you next to you the whole
No, I
night.
mean, did you go inside the sleeping bag?
Yeah. I only got up about 5 minutes ago, darling. I'm just putting the kettle on now. I'm going to have a coffee. I'm going to make us a sausage sandwich. Do you want a sausage sandwich? Oh, a sausage sandwich. A sausage sandwich and some water. And we'll have a quick wash, brush our teeth, and then you can help me pack the tent down. And then when we've packed the tent down, we'll pack our bags and we'll go for a trek through the woods, okay? And we'll see if we're early enough that we might be able to see the squirrels and the rabbits waking up. And maybe even a fox and a badger. You want to do that?
I dreamed about catching a frog.
About catching a fox?
No, a frog.
A frog?
It was an orange one.
An orange frog.
And he was in our garden. And there was a hole in the garden. And he went down the hole and it was tiny and he was big.
Wow. So you have a nice dream then. And were you comfortable all night?
Mm-hmm.
And you're super warm? Mm-hmm. And you've been big boy and you had your wee-wees outside the tent. You've done brilliant. It's so warm in here. It's so cosy, isn't it? I love this new little tent. Super duper cool, isn't it? Okay, well, should we have our little bit of breakfast and then later on we're going to go home and see...
And jerky.
Yeah. Oh no, the jerky. I ate the jerky.
No.
I did. I ate all the jerky last night when you were asleep. Naughty daddy. I ate it, darling. I was hungry. But I've got you some lovely triple sausages with a nice roll with a bit of butter.
What sausages?
And some water, so that'll be tasty. And,
What kind of sausages are
and you
they?
can have a marshmallow after as well.
What kind of sausages are they?
They're the little thin ones, you know, the little tasty chipolata ones
Yeah,
from the butchers.
They're the ones I have at nursery. They're my favourite ones.
Yeah, well, we're going to have them. So we're going to go home and see Mummy and Sonny and Indigo later. So you're going to say goodbye?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And there you go, little Jesi. How sweet is Jesi? I mean, all the children on the earth are precious, and they're very vulnerable at the moment. They're being asked to deal with some really, really difficult things. They're being asked to process behaviours that are unnatural. They're being asked to conduct behaviours that are not native to their instincts, their primal being. You know, that kids are about exploration, adventure, uncovering things, making mistakes, climbing, jumping, falling, grazing knees, banging elbows, banging heads, climbing fences, you know, right now we're programming our children in the UK, at least, to be worried, to be scared, not only of getting dirty or their friends touching them or brushing past their friends in the playground or in the corridor, but their own families, their grandparents, their whole operating system is being rewired as we speak, and I'm hearing language now coming out of my kids since they've been back in the school, and I've got to stay 2 meters away from my friends. I've got to, and because we have to wash our hands in case we get the virus, and then we could be very, very poorly, and some people die. It's fucking really hard to hear that from your 5-year-old, because it's hard enough us coping with it. If you've ever read anything about child psychology, about imprinting, about trauma, about those initial wirings that get laid in a small child, up to kind of 7 years old, the foundations they're putting in their basic database of understanding is the programming, the precursors of everything they're going to do thereafter, and are rewiring them right now, and it's fucking scary. And we're now pondering on what to do with this. It's so scary, and like I say, the camping trips have been absolutely magical for us. Not just because we're in a beautiful place and all that, but just to get away from the noise, the fucking white noise, the neighbours. What will the neighbours say? What are they saying down there? Can we go in the shop with that? All this chaos, this fucking chaos, and all it takes is for the news to say tonight, "Oh no, it's okay. Take your mask off," or it's all gone away, and then tomorrow those same people will just have a completely different approach, and they'll just bin them up. We've got to critical think, and I want to take this opportunity to mention a website, UK Column, a collective of guys that are individual researchers with their own credentials in various fields, who are basically just a fucking fantastic channel to actually weigh up the news, weigh up the tabloids, weigh up the headlines. These guys are taking the news, they're taking the legislations, they're taking the laws, they're taking the published law the documents that the government are pumping out at the moment behind the scenes. And we're getting the headline, or people who pay attention to the news, which I imagine lots of you watch the news and read the papers and have everything reaffirmed by the bulletins on the radios and the adverts and the fucking billboards and all of that shit. And these guys are taking those headlines, they're taking those vague fear factors, and they're digging deep into the documentation. They're finding the documents, they're looking at the small print, they're finding out the lineage of how this document came to light, who's behind this document, who are the companies benefiting from these things. And I tell you, you must pay attention to the other side of what's happening now, because your instincts aren't right. You know it. You know things don't seem right. So you must investigate if you have the opportunity, if you have the time, because you owe it to these children. We owe it to them. We're remapping children. We're remapping children's fucking futures. Because if they learn now at 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years old to keep distance from people for another year, to not hug grandparents, to be aware of the potential that people might have lurgies and they might infect them and they could kill other people, and they better not hug their granddad in case their granddad dies because they hugged. If we fucking carry on doing that, we will have ourselves to blame and ourselves only. Okay, so I feel passionately about this because anybody who's been with the podcast for a little while knows that we're fascinated by childhood, about the trajectory, about what happens to when you're young. If you pay any mind, it's really, really important. And right now, we're doing things that are fucking insidious to our children, to ourselves. We really are. And I urge anybody to check in with the UK Column. I'm going to link them in the bottom of this podcast, and I'm going to start linking the guys in with all of my podcasts, because I think it's only healthy to, yes, Pay attention to what Boris Johnson says on his next podium appearance. Pay attention to the BBC. Pay attention to the mainstream news, of course. But supplement that with your own instinctive learning. You know, if your two children have a commotion upstairs and one comes running down the stairs crying, saying, this happened, that happened, he did this, he did that, and they did this and he did that. You don't just listen to that one and say, right, you down here, you say, hey, hang on, slow down. And you say, right, Sonny, Jesse's just said that you did this and you did that and you did this and you did that and it meant this and it meant that. What happened, Sonny? And you get the other fucking side, don't you? That's what we do. That's critical thinking in the most simple form. And then we know that somewhere in the middle of those two versions of events, we connect dots, we read between the lines, and we make an assumption and we judge it based on that. And that's what we must do, because we are sleepwalking into the fucking mainstream medias owned by, driven by, sold to us by the government, you know. And I love this country. I moved away from this country, and when I was down on this country in 2014, I went across the world and learned a lot, and I came back and I realised how lucky we are, and I believe that we are so lucky. Our infrastructure, our history, our prestige, our manners, how polite we are, intelligent we are, our creativity, we've got all those things. But right now, we are fucking throwing it down the river, and it's scary. And at the foundation of that is children being scared to fucking death of one another and of their own family members. Never mind not being able to go to the climbing wall or go to the BMX track or go to these places. For fucking so long we were walking past our park in our village. 3 or 4 parks we've got near us, empty, and the kids can't go on them. You know, why can't we go on the park? What the fuck's going on? Come on, talk to me about what's going on. Somebody, you know, let me know what's happening, because it is absolutely crazy. So UK column, they're tagged in, hit the link. They do kind of hour-long shows. They're a news show, you know, it's like watching the news. It's all the news bulletin style show with a ticker down the bottom, you know, but these guys are lifting the lid on the headlines and finding the documents and giving us the insight as to how this document got here. Why? What could this document mean? What is this legislation? Where is this heading? What does this mean when we connect that to that, to that, to that, and all the things that have happened in the last 6 months that nobody is paying mind to in the media because they don't want us to know? You know, conspiracy theories once upon a time were wacky. Conspiracy is a word like racism now, where it's just an empty word. You don't need a conspiracy theory at this moment in time to use as a word to describe how you feel, because we all feel fucking strange in one way or another, whether you're full of fear, whether you're full of anxiety, whether you're full of depression, whether you're full of anger, frustration. That's happening for a reason. You know, and it's pretty clear that if Operation Templar, which you know allows the military to back up the police, that was, I think, first used after the Manchester bombings in 2017, was it? Excuse me if I've got that wrong, but that's now in operation, and they've been going to hotspots, and I know Birmingham is one where they've done this, and they're knocking on people's doors for test and trace results, and people are scared to death. The military are knocking on doors. You know, if people are truly scared, and if this thing is actually what we're told it is, people don't need the army coming to their door to tell them to be safe, to ask them to be safe. Something's not right. So I digress a little bit, but the reason I wanted to share this little camping podcast was because for us, during this lockdown, it's been a fucking godsend. And it's something that people have always told me about. You know, we've done a bit of camping and gone to campsites and stuff, but getting out as much as you have in a wild style with just backpacks, nice and easy, sling a bag in the back, you know, don't have to pack up loads of gear. It has saved our health as a family, individually. For me, it's given me perspective. It's given me insight. It's given me peace. And I urge you, to think of ways for you that help you to find some kind of calm in this chaos. Because right now, unless we start speaking up and the silent majority step forward, and as Darren G said on this episode, we allow ourselves to just remove ourselves from our comfort for a moment and actually pay attention to the future that we're handing over to our children. It's fucking mad out there. So this camping trip was a beautiful thing. I wanted to share it. My little boy Jesse he's the most selfless and wonderful little kid out of my kids, and he teaches me a hell of a lot. The older one, Sonny, you've heard on that previous episode, he's more like me. He's more selfish, he's more self-centered, he puts his blinkers on, wants to do what he's doing. Whereas Jesse, he's so selfless, like his mum, and I'm learning from him all the time. And in an environment like that, camping at this particular time, it was just magical, beautiful, and we've done it over and over again. So I wanted to share that. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about this little bit of negativity at the end, but I can't keep not saying anything while I'm watching, my children come home from school saying they can't sing happy birthday. They weren't allowed to sing happy birthday. The computer sang happy birthday. There's going to come a day when we have to say, what were you doing? What did you do, Dad? When they shut our rights down and change the world forever. So listen, take care of yourselves. Check out the UK column. Thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it. I can't tell you, means a lot. Again, salvation during this time. Look after yourselves. Peace.